guys, welcome back to my channel.
Wait, start over, because I was leaning my head in. I was doing this.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am here with Mama Fearless today.
Hi kids.
It's the best of times when Mama Fearless is
Best
in
of times.
a video with me. So we are so excited to be working with Tampax today and doing a menstrual period tampon Q&A together. So I asked you guys on my Instagram stories to send us in all your questions. Nothing's off the table about periods and menstruation and all the things. My mom and I are very open with each other. You can also check out our podcast down below where we're talking more about it as well. So you guys sent in lots of questions and we're gonna hop into them. We have a lot to talk about on the podcast and whenever my mom is around. We're very open with each other.
Well, yeah, we are open, and I always thought that was really important. And I know a lot of people aren't open with their moms, and I think that's a shame, because that's like
crucial.
Yeah. It's a lost opportunity, really, to guide your kids. So
yeah, she's been honestly like the best mom ever, because she's always kept...
Oh, and I didn't even pay her to say that.
You didn't.
Thank you.
It's almost Mother's Day. This is so cute.
Mother's Day.
Oh, I love Mother's Day.
I do too. No, you know why I do? Because you always give me the best presents. She spoils me rotten, but I'm like so blessed and looking forward to it. My mother's easy. I buy her like a geranium or something. Like,
she loves plants.
My mother, yeah, it's springtime.
She's a simple gal.
I want to plant it. She's very utilitarian. Like, a present has to have a purpose. It can't just be like $3,000 Chanel sneakers. Like, she just wants, yeah,
a flower.
A flower in a pot.
Speaking of flowers, is your vagina a flower?
Well, that's
Is that what people call it?
Sometimes, yes.
So we're hoping this video will inspire you to have a more of a heart-to-heart with your mom about things, because she raised me to just be super open when I had questions about my period or sex or my vagina, whatever.
Right.
I was always very comfortable going to her and asking her about it. So maybe you can watch this video with your mom, maybe get some inspiration about how you can talk to your mom about these things in honor of Mother's Day coming here as well. So before we get into the questions too, I think one of the things that is really important with talking to your mom about periods, a lot of moms have misconceptions about tampons. So you were always very open with me about using tampons. My mom, weren't you like outside the door when I was trying to put it in for the first time? Guiding me. I can vaguely remember all of this actually.
Yeah.
So if your mom has maybe not been able to give you information about tampons, we can also talk about that, because there's a lot of things that we'll dive into with the questions that you might not have known about tampons. Even I've learned quite a bit through this as well.
Yeah.
So first from Ash, you get your period the same time every single month like clockwork. Personally, I'm a very regular menstruator. A lot of my friends are not, though. It's very common to be a little bit irregular sometimes, but if it's very irregular, I think you should talk to your doctor.
Yeah, you need to talk to your doctor,
because it can be affected by like stress, or even I remember when I was traveling once when I was a lot younger, my period came wicked late when I went abroad.
Right. I mean, it can vary. It can vary, and it doesn't even mean you're abnormal. It doesn't even mean you have a problem, but some people do and some people don't.
Someone also asks, does using a tampon mean that you're not a virgin? No.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you're all familiar with the fact that you have a hymen, right? It's
a layer?
Not a layer. It's
a thin layer.
It's a membrane.
Okay.
That covers the entrance up into your vagina. It can break for a lot of different reasons. Some people have a strong hymen, some people have a weak hymen, and it just pops.
Doesn't mean that you're not a virgin.
It doesn't mean you're not. You know how you lose your virginity? Am I allowed to say that?
I'm not sure. Using a tampon does not remove your virginity. That is such a myth. So don't let that freak you out.
Don't let that stop you from using tampons.
And another thing too is, I think a lot of people think you can't use a tampon until you've had sex, which isn't true either.
Okay, I've never heard of that one, but not true.
Because like you said, a lot of people have different things going on in there. That's why it's like, it's weird if you're not comfortable with it, but you kind of need to get to know your body personally, and like, you can try to put a tampon and feel around, see what feels comfortable. A lot of the questions here as well are asking if a tampon should hurt or if it's comfortable. Like, a lot of people don't know how it's supposed to feel. I remember when I first put a tampon in, I think you remember, I was like, I can feel it.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, if you can feel it, it's not in far enough. Because essentially you have to get past that initial part where you're putting it in, because that's kind of like clamped shut. And then once it gets up in there, everything's a little looser, so it just kind of like sits there. And
it sits there comfortably.
Perfectly. Yeah, and you will not even feel a thing.
And don't get overwhelmed if you can't get it in right the first few times. It took me like several tries to be able to get a tampon in comfortably, and you'll feel a huge difference when it's in the right way. And at first, when I first started putting tampons in, I definitely wasn't going in far enough. Like it just,
because it's a little scary and you're like,
you don't want to push too far.
If I push too far, am I gonna like rupture something? No, it's not. Like your body is built to accept it and to know when to stop.
Yeah, I had to learn how to kind of just like get up in there, and once it's in there, you don't feel it. It's comfortable. Right. So
what else have people asked?
Do you ever get depressed when you know you're about to start your period?
Yes.
I think I always get, I don't even know if it's depressed necessarily, but I always get like highly sensitive. I'm already a highly sensitive gal, but like a few days before my period, I'm like crying over a commercial on TV, and I look at my period tracker and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, like, okay, now this makes sense.
Okay, so we have a lot of questions about having sex on your period.
I think it's a personal choice. It's absolutely a personal choice. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah, it should all be about a comfort. Like, Are you cool with it? If you're cool with it,
right.
I don't see an issue. You can absolutely have sex on your period.
You can, yeah.
Another question about, should she try tampons even though she's a virgin? Absolutely. Try them. See if it's comfortable. You can always start. There's a lot of different sizes too.
Well, let me tell you a little story too. I remember when I first got my period, and I went and stayed at my aunt and uncle's house, right? And they had a few kids my age as well, and they belonged to the local country club, and we went there to go swimming. And I couldn't go swimming because I had my period, and I hadn't learned how to use a tampon yet. I was still using pads. I think it was the first year that I had it. I think I was like 12 or 13. And I just remember everyone was like, how come you don't want to come swimming? You should come swimming. Like they kept asking me, and it was so awkward for me as a young adolescent. And like I had to say, no, I just don't feel like it.
It's a bummer.
And it stinks because like you just have to miss out on so much. So that's when I determined to just like figure that whole tampon thing out, because I said I don't want to miss out on the summer fun, because summer is
when I had that moment too.
Yeah, and it's like if you have to lose a whole week to your period and you can't go swimming,
that's like half the summer in New England.
Exactly.
Those 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that, and that was my like pivotal moment. I remember another story too when I was in middle school and had just gotten my period. And when you have a pad on, it can kind of slip around. It goes forward, it goes backward. I mean, I don't care if it has wings or not. It's still like
it's hard to stay in place.
Yes. And I stood up from class and I had a period spot on my back of my pants, and I was like,
oh yeah,
horrified.
We've all had those
horrified
moments. We've gotten a lot of questions about sharing our first period stories, but we're going to talk about that over on our podcast. So when you're watching this video, the podcast will already be up yesterday, so I'll link it down below. Oh, Mom, this is for you. How about the first periods after birth?
Well, I do remember because it was uneventful.
Okay.
It didn't change my period at all. I don't know if you just had your baby or it's been a few months, but typically your period starts just about a month or so after you have a baby.
Damn, they can't give you a break.
I know. Mine didn't change at all after having Alexandra, but like I said, everyone is different.
Everyone's different.
Yeah.
A lot of people are asking about tampons versus pads. Again, like this is a personal preference, but like we touched on, tampons are great for swimming, but they're not just for swimming. Like on the day-to-day, it's a lot more, like freeing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get graphic or anything. I know pads have come a long way since I was a kid, but I never liked the pad because
bulky.
I just felt like I'm walking around, with a big wudgel between my legs, and it's like collecting blood, and it's like smearing all over my body, and then it gets smelly and it's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's not fun all the time.
Yeah, you just feel so encumbered by it. It's too much.
Yeah.
And to know you don't have to put up with that every day.
I like to switch it up too, because you know what? Honestly, before I used tampons, the pads kind of like chafed my vagina.
That's another thing pads do. Yes,
like the area would get chafy.
Yeah, like my outer labia.
It hurt.
And then it would sting.
Yeah.
And so now you've got your period and you have chafed
got a burning
skin.
crotch and blood. It's
so
annoying.
then I'm like, putting ointment on it, and it's a thing.
So it's nice.
freeing.
It's
Tampons
nice.
are freeing in every way. away.
Yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions about people thinking they can't use them, maybe on the stage of life that they're in, or because they have a fear about it. We're also going to talk more about some more misconceptions in the podcast as well. So honestly, it's nice to take a little break and just be able to like almost feel like you don't have your period for a second.
You do.
Yeah, you forget sometimes. It's like, oh, nice. Like,
yep. After you get over those first cramps, or even if you take something for your cramps and you put a tampon in, it's almost like not having it.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah, I loved that aspect.
Oh my God, the first time I finally got comfortable with tampons, I was so happy. Like, I was
Big
like,
relief.
wow.
Big relief. Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys for sending in your questions again for the millionth time. Check out the pod. We're gonna talk lots more over there about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Shout out to Tampax for partnering with us on this video. Y'all are personally my favorite tampons. All right, guys.
As always, we love you.
We'll see you in the next video.
Bye, guys. Why is your head so much bigger than mine? Oh, because you're closer to it.
I know. This happens in a lot of videos. My head looks way bigger than yours.
I just leaned in.
Thank you.